I'd like to call this meeting of the Brick Township Council to order. Madam Clerk?
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press on January 30th, 2021. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards in the Township website.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thanks for participating in tonight's Township Council meeting. The COVID-19 pandemic prevents us from meeting in the traditional way, but we have adjusted accordingly so that we can continue to conduct the business of the Township and serve our residents. This meeting is available through the Zoom application, where you can see and hear tonight's meeting and participate during all public comment periods as you would if we were all together in person. To ask a question or comment, please click on your device and a bar will appear on the bottom of your screen. One of the icons posted there is a Raise Your Hand button. Click that to indicate that you have a question, and we can see that on our end, and we'll call on people one at a time. Questions and comments are also welcome by email. The address is publicmeetingquestions@bricktownship.net. We are checking that email throughout the meeting, and we'll read those questions into the minutes and respond accordingly. And now I'm lost now. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. All right, we're good. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilman Minikino.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilman Mumolo.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero. Is Mariana here? Do we know?
Difficulties, please stand by.
Really bad feedback.
Yep, we're aware. 1 sec. All right, I think we're good now. We apologize for that. I'm sorry. At this time, we're going to have a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes.
I didn't get to finish the roll call. So I should just
I'm
finish
so sorry. I got a little
That's
thrown
okay.
off there. We're going to go back to roll call. I apologize. Go
Yes.
ahead.
So, is Councilwoman Pontorero here? Vice President Halloran?
Yes.
President Crate?
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
apologize. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
All right. We are, can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the January 5th, 2021 meeting?
Motion. Second, Mumolo.
Got it. Roll call?
Councilwoman Zapsik?
Yes.
Councilman Minikino?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung?
Yes.
Councilman Mumolo?
Yes.
Vice President Halloran?
Yes.
President Crate?
Yes.
Thank you.
We are on to the consent agenda. I just want to make note that Resolution 415 is off the agenda and will not be considered for tonight.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1.
Authorized budget appropriation transfers.
This resolution authorizes budget appropriation transfers as needed. These transfers do not increase our overall municipal budget in any way. We are moving unexpended funds from one account to another. Resolution 4-2.
Authorized receipt of bids, manufacturing, and printing of tax bills.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the manufacture and printing of tax bills. The current contract awarded to Vital Communications will expire on April 30th, 2021. The Township had an approximate expenditure of $48,000 for the current 2-year contract period. The services included printing of estimated tax bills for the third quarter, printing of final preliminary tax bills, and printing of post-tax year statements and corresponding reports to the tax collector. Resolution 4-3.
Authorized receipt of bids, operation of Brick Beach 1 food concession stand.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the operation of the Brick Beach 1 food concession. The township received $1,100 for the current one-year contract with Castaway Kitchen, LLC. The new contract will be for 3 years commencing with the 2021 summer season. Resolution 4-4.
Authorized receipt of bids, operation of Brick Beach 3 food concession stand.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the operation of the Brick Beach 3 food concession. The township received $2,750 for the current one-year contract with Jersey Shore Snack Shack. The new contract will be for 3 years commencing with the 2021 summer season. Resolution 4-5.
Authorized receipt of bids, mobile ice cream truck.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for an ice cream truck vendor at Windward Beach Park and Traders Cove Marina for the 2021 summer season. In this contract, the vendor agrees to visit each park daily from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Last year, the successful bidder paid $581 to the township to provide this service. Resolution 4-6.
Authorized receipt of bids, beer and wine garden concession.
Mayor?
Yes, thank you. This resolution authorizes receipt of bids from vendors who currently have the appropriate ABC licensing to provide a beer and wine concession during the 4 Summerfest concerts as well as the Fall Fest in 2021. Last year, the township received $6,000 for the one-year negotiated contract.
Thank you. Resolution 4-7.
Authorized receipt of bids, Summerfest food truck vendors.
Mayor?
Thank you. Yes, so 2021 Summerfest is happening. Our first show is July 1st, Thursday. It's Super Bad Trans Am. July 8th is the Amish Outlaws. July 15th is the Nerds. And July 22nd is the 80s and 90s Decades, with a possible rain date, if needed, for July 29th. So every Thursday we'll have a show in July, and the 5th Thursday will be saved for that rain date, if necessary. But this particular resolution, I just wanted to announce those dates in the concerts. This resolution authorizes receipt of bids from vendors to provide food and refreshments during the 4 Summerfest concerts, as well as the annual car show, with an option for the craft sale, as well as Night Out Against Crime. So last year, the award was made to 6 vendors in the total amount of $6,480.
Thank you. Resolution 4-8.
Authorized receipt of bids, Fall Fest food vendor.
Mayor?
And we're getting ready for 2021 Fall Fest as well. And this resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for a Fall Fest food vendor to identify and secure a number of food trucks with a variety of offerings for this popular annual event. The contract will be awarded to one bidder that must provide a minimum of 16 and a maximum of 20 food trucks in various food categories within the park for the event. And this year's Fall Fest will be on Saturday, November 16th. I know it's looking way forward, but we have some 2021 events that are on tap for this year. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Resolution 4-9.
Authorized receipt of bids, Windward Park ADA improvements, Phase 1.
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for Windward Beach ADA improvements Phase 1. The township's 2020 capital budget included funds for the design, which was also included in the fiscal year 19 Community Development Block Grant Program's Public Facilities Project list. The project will be 100% reimbursed by HUD CDBG grant funds. However, inclusion in the 2020 municipal capital budget request is provided to ensure funds are available at the time of contract award. The engineering design project is anticipated to include renovation to the parking lot, including paving, striping, signage, railing, concrete work, ramps, and other ADA amenities. Resolution 410.
Authorized contract through Ocean County Cooperative Pricing System 1 Ford F-250 Super Cab 4x4 pickup.
This resolution authorizes a contract with All-American Ford Point Pleasant in the amount of $38,758 for the purchase of one 2020 or newer Ford F-250 Super Cab 4x4 pickup for the Department of Public Works. This vehicle is being acquired through the 2020 Recycling Tonnage Grant, and the township is entering this contract through a cooperative purchasing agreement with the Ocean County Cooperative Pricing System. Resolution 411.
Authorized contract through the Education Educational Services Commission of New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System for Ford Bronco Sports.
This resolution authorizes a contract with Buyer Ford, Morristown, in the amount of $114,685.36 for the purchase of 4 2021 Ford Bronco sports vehicles, 1 for senior services, 1 for engineering, and 2 for the inspection department. These vehicles were approved in the 2020 capital budget. The township is entering this contract through a cooperative purchasing agreement with the Educational Services Commission and the New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System. Resolution 412.
Authorized sale of surplus property, municipal online auction.
This resolution authorizes the sale of surplus property through using the online auction services Municipid. Resolution 413.
Authorized execution of shared services agreement with Ocean County Pump Out Boat Program.
This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the County of Ocean for the operation and maintenance of 2 pump-out boats, the Bay Saver and the Bay Defender, to service the affluent discharge need of boaters in Brick Township's waters. The pump-out boats provide a convenient, inexpensive, and environmentally safe means for boaters to dispose of the effluent waste. In this agreement, Brick operates and maintains the pump-out boats, and the county reimburses the township up to $20,000 for each boat for costs incurred. Resolution 414.
Authorized execution of shared service agreement with Ocean County Prosecutor's Office Fatal Accident Support Team.
This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement in place with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office to designate Brick Township police officers to be assigned to the Fatal Accident Support Team for the purpose of assisting in investigation, prosecution of fatal accidents, and in traffic reinforcement and education. During times when additional manpower is needed for investigations and/or training, members of the FAST will be called upon to assist. Officers will be paid from money in the Prosecutor's Program Fund, which has been designated by the Ocean County Prosecutor and the Ocean County Board of Commissioners. Resolution 416. Madam Clerk, sorry.
Yes, thank you. 416A is a performance bond release for Deborah Miller from Flintoff Avenue in the amount of $3,000.
Thank you. Resolution 417. Ms. Bergen?
Thank you, and I do believe Councilwoman Pontorero is in the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. 17A, cancel tax balances and credits $10 and under for the year 2020. 17B, tax overpayments for 2020. There is one, Block 1429, Lot 1, C0156, in the amount of $763.61. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of our consent agenda. Can I please have a motion and second?
Mumolo motion. Second, Hillary.
Thank you. Open to council for questions or comments.
Council President?
Yes.
I just have in my enthusiasm about announcing Fall Fest, I said November 16th. It's actually October 16th.
I was thinking November 16th was
Yep.
going to be chilly. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't even okay.
Saturday, October 16th. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for that correction. Anyone else from council? Hearing none, closed council. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only. Seeing none, closed public. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Menachino.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Mumolo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Vice President Halloran.
Yes.
President Crate.
Yes.
Thank you.
On to resolution 418, computer bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $22,841,874.27.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and second?
Motion Pontorero. Second Pontorero.
Okay, Zapsik was first. Thank you. Open to council. Closed council. Open to public on the computer bill resolutions. Seeing none, closed public. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Menachino.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Mumolo.
Abstain Meridian Occupational Health, yes to the rest.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Vice President Halloran.
Yes.
President Crate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution 419, manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $3,399,443.10.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second?
Mumolo motion. Menachino second.
Thank you. Open to council. Closed council. Open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, closed public. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilman Menachino.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Mumolo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Vice President Halloran.
Yes.
President Crate.
Yes. We are on to 5-1, ordinance on first reading.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of the Township of Brick to designate Salmon Street as a through street.
The Public Safety Committee is recommending the amendment of this ordinance to make Salmon Street a through street. The Police Department's Traffic Safety Office requesting the council consider the amendment to increase safety. Salmon Street is across from the McDonald's on Chambers Bridge Road. It is just past the 7-Eleven right next to the bank that recently opened. The roadway extends several blocks out to Pier Avenue. There are no stop signs at any of the intersecting streets because Salmon is not recognized as a through street. Once approved, stop signs will be installed on Salmon Street to prevent it from being used as a speedway. The police department will also conduct selective enforcement once the signs are installed to help provide education. Can I have a motion and second?
Motion Pontoriero.
Second Halloran.
Open to council. Closed council. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilman Menachino.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Mumolo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Vice President Halloran.
Yes.
President Crate.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we are on to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. So we're opening up the public comments so that there's no overlap of people speaking. What we are going to do is recognize you, call on you once you've raised your hand, and then I'll let you know when it's your turn to speak for your 5 minutes. Ms. Bergen?
There's an Anthony on the line.
Anthony, please state your name and address.
Actually, I'm not Anthony. I'm using my son's Zoom. My name is Rolene Storego. I reside at 600 Driscoll Drive in Brick. I am also the deacon and director of music at St. Thomas Lutheran Church on Salmon Street in Brick, and I'm here representing the church council this evening. I have some concerns about the ordinance that you just read. Our church, for anyone who is not familiar, currently Salmon Street ends at the end of the property of the side of Laurelton Funeral Home, which is right next to the church, and then it runs into a roundabout which goes in front of our church. That roundabout is on our church property. It is our private property. As a matter of fact, we just recently spent $45,000 to repave that roundabout. I'm assuming that your plan to make that a through street means that the Salmon Street would go all the way into what is known as the old Food Town parking lot, and therefore would run through our property. We have very great concerns about this because once that occurs, the building would be on, our church building would be on one side of the street, and our parking lot would be on the other side of the street. We have a great special needs population, including the fact that our church now houses Family Resource Associates, which is a school for special needs adults that use our property on a daily basis. We also have no designated handicap parking spots on the building side of the street because there is not enough room there. All our designated handicap parking spots would end up being on the other side of Salmon Street. And so there would be a lot of people crossing what would now be a through street. We have a lot of older people, kids, people in wheelchairs, walkers, canes, what have you. We also house a food pantry which serves quite a few people. We do weddings, funerals. Our church house has lots of activities going on, choirs. We have 2 AA groups, Al-Anon, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Soccer Shots, which is a soccer program for children. All of these would have to park in the parking lot across that street and have to cross the street to the church building. It's a lot of foot traffic in front of, across what could end up being a pretty major thoroughfare there once that sports complex opens in the old Food Town parking lot. Well, as I said, we recently spent $45,000 just to repave that private turnaround. And as I would like to remind you, there are already speed bumps there that were installed, I understand, about 17 years ago. They were put on Salmon Street because there were traffic concerns and many complaints about vehicles speeding through that area. So these are the concerns that I would like to voice as a member of the Church Council of St. Thomas Lutheran Church, and I would like the council to please consider these when voting on this ordinance.
Okay, Mayor, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thanks. So all it means, the through street, is just, it's recommended by the police, and what they want is stop signs on the side street so that the people on Salmon don't have to stop. It's so the people on the other streets will now have stop signs. Has nothing to do with Food Town site or your property or anything. I guess it's kind of deceiving by the word through street. Nobody knows, you might not know what that means, but that just means that that's the one that has the right of way, so to speak, and the other ones are the ones that have to stop or yield.
Okay, so I want to make this clear. You have no intention of extending Salmon Street through past St. Thomas into the Food Town parking lot?
No, that's nothing. Has nothing to do with this. No intent to
All
do
right,
that.
great.
No. Yep, totally. I don't know. Yeah, we could have explained that to you if you would have called us. But yeah, that's not a problem.
All right, I'm sorry. I just happened to see this in the brick patch yesterday, and we spoke about it briefly last night. Nobody knew anything about it. So, all right. Thank you very much.
The police just want stop signs to make it easier for traffic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Bergen? Anyone else for public?
Yeah.
Mr. Palmisano? All right, Mr. Palmisano, just state your name again and address, and your 5 minutes start.
Robert Palmisano, 525 Broad Ave. 2 things. I'm following up to the email that I sent the mayor, Joanne Bergman, and the entire council last week regarding the flooding events that we've had. It's now up to over 15% of the days since January 1st. Broad Avenue in Normandy Beach has been underwater and impassable unless you have a vehicle that's more than 12 to 8 inches off the ground. And it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting, that I did not receive a response from anyone. And I find it appalling that you're all public servants, you work for the citizens of Brick, which I am one of, and I did not receive a response. Either to say, too bad, we're working on it, nothing. That's the first comment. The second comment is, has anyone been out during those 15% of the days to confirm whether or not the sealing of the catch basins is working or if the flapper valves are working? Because clearly they're not. And I want to go on record, I would like the record to be shown. I want to hear from the town, has anyone from DPW or any other administrative office or anyone from the town been out to see if the work they've been doing is working? So I'd like a response on that before I ask my final question.
We're always going to do the updates. That's what everybody's agreed on. So as far as the emails, we're going to stick with the updates. And then I know the police have been out there. I believe DPW's been out. Yeah, but DPW's been out there as well to check. And
to check on what? They've been out during the flooding events? And what is their if they see the ceiling is not working, the streets are still flooding, what is the response back to either the administration or back to the superiors at DPW? I mean, to say you're going to make a response to the group, that's ridiculous. I'm asking for a response. I sent an email personally, and I deserve the respect of a response back from someone addressing the email. I mean, more than 15% of the days we've been underwater, and I asked if that's acceptable, and personally, if any of you would accept that in the neighborhood you live in. And I find it really appalling that no one provides a response. I find it appalling that DPW or the engineer or no one else is coming out during these flooding events to confirm the work they're doing is not working. So why continue with the projects?
Should we stop the projects?
Well, if they're not working, whoever that was, you may want to stop it and put the money towards something that is going to work. Sealing the catch basins is not working, because if you do not seal them all and put flapper valves in all of them, the water's going to find the one catch basin that's not sealed and doesn't have a flapper valve. And according to the notices we've received from you, not all catch basins in Normandy Beach are going to have flapper valves anytime soon. It's not even on the radar. It's not even a matter of not having the monies in the budget for it. You've only allocated, I believe, for 6 flapper valves. There are many more than 6 catch basins in the municipality. So if 6 work, which they do not work, the 5 that are installed right now are not working, very clearly are not working, and there's 20 catch basins, the water's going to come up in the other 14 catch basins, if we assume the 5 or 6 that are installed work, but they don't. And again, if you guys would take the time and come out and witness this during the flooding events, you'd see exactly what we're talking about. And not even in major flooding events. I mean, we had a major flooding event a week and a half ago. But on a day where the wind blows slight out of the south, when the streets are flooding for no reason, there's no rain, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And again, I find it appalling that no one responded. And I find it appalling that no one will take the time and drive out to Normandy Beach when we send these photographs, when we send emails, and see what's going on. You're not representing the residents of Normandy Beach. Not at all. And I don't want to hear that you send out the group emails. Big deal. You're not representing the group. The second thing, and the second comment, I sent an email about a month ago about the snow fence on the beaches being completely covered. They acted exactly the way they were designed to act, catching the sand. Well, when they're covered, it's my understanding the Army Corps, you have an agreement with the Army Corps to maintain and to install new fencing, so as the wind blows sand up, it again catches the sand. Well, you didn't do that in the fall like you were supposed to do, and now the dunes are starting to get destroyed. I mean, I saw an article on the Brick Patch about it. But again, has anyone been out besides DPW to look at it? Has the mayor, has anyone from the council been out to actually see what's going on the beach? And what is the plan to install new snow fencing so as the wind starts to blow sand up, it begins to catch and build up the dunes again? Otherwise, you're just going to have the dunes completely erode away if you don't replace the fence that was destroyed by the last nor'easter.
Okay, thank you. Mayor?
Yes, I was out there to look at the beach. I was also out there during many flooding events, not the large one. But with regards to the fence, we did get a letter of apology on January 27th from the Ocean County Planning Board saying that unfortunately their manufacturer did not get them the rolls of fence that they promised us, but they were delivered on January 26th. And since that time, our Public Works Department has gone there to pick it up, and we'll be installing it.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else for public? Okay.
This is Jeannie McCurdy. I'm raising my hand. Is
Yes.
that showing?
It
Jeannie
is now,
McCurdy.
so please state your name
Yes.
and your address.
My name is Jeannie McCurdy, 527 Broad Avenue, Normandy Beach.
Go ahead.
So I want to also concur with the statements made by Robert Palmisano regarding both the snow fence and the flooding. We're not seeing what we want to see. We want to see the flooding stopped. We see that there's occasionally someone there to maybe look at what they can do, but the flapper valves that have been installed, we're still questioning which have. They don't seem to be functioning. And, you know, the efforts or non-efforts nothing's better. Nothing's better. And we're really relying on you to do something for us. And in addition, Robert's concerns about, you know, I sent an email as well. My husband and I sent an email as well. It was very respectful. It addressed a lot of the similar points because we're all on Broad Avenue experiencing the same things, and not even the respectful, you know, reply from anyone. It's incredulous. Not a reply from anyone. While that is a big concern, my bigger concern is the continued flooding that we are experiencing. My husband and I are seniors. We're using a wet dry vac. We had to buy a second one. In my email, since no one's responded to it, I will reprise it. We have, at our own expense, installed a berm around our house. At our own expense, we have hired people to help us clean out. At our own expense and our time, we've filled sandbags. At our own expense, we've installed a sump pump. You know, so I don't know when, like, my funds start to run out and my patience and my ability to hire people run out before you know, address the real problems that we're having. And, you know, the emails that I'm getting back occasionally from Joanne, thank you, or Ms. Bergen, thank you very much, you know, kind of correspond with something that was said earlier, but the earlier thing doesn't correspond with anything that's being done or re-looked at or readdressed. And, you know, if that was addressed in October, that's just great, but nothing's happened. Or it just doesn't seem to us there's any solution. We want some solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public, Ms. Bergen? Ms. McCurdy, did you have another comment? Did you want to, or did you just not put your hand down?
Oh, I'm waiting for a response other than that you heard me. Is that a possibility? Some responses, some offerings of some solutions, some next steps, you know, we're waiting.
Ms. Bergen will speak for you. Yep.
I'll certainly try. So I think the disconnect here is that we have outlined a few times what our short-term approaches are to help get us to the goal line of elevating the roadways. That is the consensus of what the only real true solution is. That's not happening tomorrow. That's not happening next week. That's a process that's well underway through the work of professionals we've retained to pull together the data for us to rate high for grant applications that will help us fund those roadway elevations. 2 separate grant applications have been submitted, one through the state and one through FEMA, that will allow us to do a large-scale project. Information on that has been sent out to the group. The other things that we are trying to do in the meantime in terms of the catch basins and the flapper valves are intended to try to alleviate some of what is occurring until we can elevate those roads. That is what we are doing. That's what we're continuing to try to do. But you have a neighborhood or a series of homes and streets that are below sea level. So the roads being wet and the area being wet is not solvable by catch basins and flapper valves. Those are there to try to mitigate some of what you're experiencing until those roadways can be elevated. That timeline is, you know, it's been outlined many times over a series of emails, especially when water is coming up over the bulkhead, of course they're not working. The water's over the bulkhead, and that's what occurred, last week. So that's the answer that we have for you. That's the answer that we have been providing to you. But week after week, it's what are you doing? What's the timeline? And that's information that we've already provided. And anytime we have an update in terms of a grant submission or word from a funder or any additional information at all, we send it to the group. So that's how we communicate. That's how we provide updates. And expecting something other than what you're seeing now may not be particularly realistic, because I don't know of anything else that we can do in the meantime until we get these roadways elevated.
I'm checking to see if my hand's raised. This is Jeannie McCurdy again, 527 Broad Avenue. I'm hoping that my hand was raised.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You can have a response, and then we're on. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, number one, we are now understanding that that Broad Avenue will not be raised. Can you please address that? And before you do, because again, I'm not an engineer. I've stated this in many emails. Water does go to its lowest level. Number two, while yes, the latest storm went over the bulkhead, in general, that is not the case. Mm-hmm. So, that's something that, again, needs to be addressed. And, waiting for solutions, we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's the same response.
20 years.
And let's maybe look at, is there a possibility of a pumping station? Can we start to look at other potential solutions? Because the ones that you have played out with ACT engineers and flapper valves and lifting roadways, which don't include Broad Avenue, really don't seem in the long run to be really doing anything. And if you can respond to that, I will mute my and listen to the responses. Thank you very much.
Council President, great. Would you like me to answer?
Ms.
So I'm showing on the screen the map of the areas to be elevated. You can see the streets on here that are intended to be elevated through 2 separate grant applications. Those are the streets. That's the area that are the low-lying areas that will be elevated between the 2 grant applications. So that's the point that I have in regards to the location. Secondly, we have looked at pump stations. I believe we've emailed you, a copy of the presentation that was done by ACT where pump stations were discussed. They were not determined to be feasible for us because they were not determined to be a working solution, and nor were they something at around $10 million that any one municipality could fund. So that's the answer on the pumping station. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Bergen.
Thank you.
Anyone else from public? Mr.
Yes, Robert Palmisano has his hand raised.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, so just to comment on the ACT, I've read the ACT report several times, and there's no comments in there regarding the pump stations. Secondly, regarding ACT, there are many, many, many engineering firms that are much more qualified than ACT, and we discussed this before you even selected ACT as the firm, and we mentioned it even after you selected ACT. We didn't feel they were the most qualified firm or even a qualified firm to deal with flooding instances and flood mitigation. As I said before, and I'll go on record again, their website today still does not even mention any flood mitigation projects they've done in the past. So I'm not sure how that firm is a qualified firm. Has the town considered looking at other firms that have experience and to talk to them about it? And B, has the town considered calling the flapper valve manufacturer and having them come out to the site and visiting to see why the flapper valves are not working properly? Again, when the water is not above the above the bulkheads. 90% of the time the roads are flooding, the water is nowhere near the top of the bulkheads. It's coming up through the catch basins. So why wouldn't we call the manufacturer and have them send a rep out to look at exactly what's going on? Maybe they're not installed properly. Maybe they're not being maintained properly. something is not working. And I would think if you call the manufacturer, because I think you sent us out cut sheets on all of them, they were warranted, and they said they were, you know, you had all these high recommendations on them. Well, then why haven't we contacted them to have them come out to the field? If you recall, ACT Engineering, the principals never even came out to the field. So are you making the same mistake and not requesting the flapper valve manufacturer come out to the field and see the real problem? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
And Council President Crate, if I
Yes,
may,
go ahead.
very briefly in response, I just would like to illustrate for the folks on the phone that this is kind of the cycle that we go through. We get what appears to be a question, but is not necessarily a question. It's an attack that we try to respond to, and it just leads to a secondary attack and a third attack. And a fourth.
And you muted me. And
I'm
also,
gonna-
the ACT
no.
report never mentioned sealing catch basins. So if you want to rely on the ACT
If you're
report
going
to
to
say that
interrupt,
pumping
if you're going to
stations-
interrupt Mr. Palmisano, I will remove you from the meeting. I just want to put that on record.
Okay, all right. Well, then, will someone from the flapper valve company be coming out to visit the site? Will we request someone come out?
So are those all your questions?
Yeah, the final question I'd like an answer tonight from is regarding the flapper valves. Will someone contact the manufacturer and request that they come out to see if they're working and installed properly?
Okay, so now we're going to have you stop, and we're going to answer the question. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you.
So to go back to what I was saying before I was interrupted, the pumping station did actually come up in the Zoom meeting with ACT engineers and the folks from Normandy Beach. I have a copy of the questions and answers provided that night.
It's not the report.
Sir,
Okay,
I'm going to
that's
ask you to please stop interrupting.
That's okay. He's been removed because
Oh,
that was the
okay.
deal.
Just, if you want to go on record with whatever your answer is.
Yeah,
go
so I
ahead.
would like to, for the benefit of the other folks on the phone, that it did come up and it was discussed, and I have notes from that meeting that indicate that. So that's my response to the flood station, and the attack on ACT is completely inappropriate because so far they've done everything that we've retained them to do, and they have submitted a FEMA application with a very competitive benefit-cost analysis, which was essential for us to be considered for funding. And the last comment I'll make is that the township will call the manufacturer if we feel they're not working correctly. We have not done that yet.
Thank you, Ms. Bergen. Anyone else for public?
Yes, I'm having trouble putting my hand up. This is Jeannie McCurdy again, 527 Broad Avenue. I have clicked on the hand several times. I hope I'm still being respectful. So what I believe is our understanding regarding the pumping station is, yes, it came up in public comment, but it wasn't part of the ACT report. So that is our question. I think Robert outlined it well, but in case there's any question, that's, it's not part of their plan. Yes, it's in the record. Yes, it's in the public comments request, but otherwise, we don't see it in the ACT report. And I'll make another point, and then you can respond to that. And so my second point is it's just kind of odd that we have to ask you to ask the flapper valve companies to come and take a look and see if, isn't that part of, again, I'm not an engineer. We don't understand who's monitoring. If you could speak to that, and then I'll mute my audio. Thank you.
Mrs. McCurdy, it came up on the Zoom meeting that we had with ACT engineers and the neighborhood of Normandy Beach when they did the presentation of their findings. It came up as a question. Pump station was discussed. That was not a public meeting. That was a meeting specifically with ACT engineers and folks at Normandy Beach and township staff, where we talked about why that project was not feasible. Secondly, the assumption that the catch basins is not working because there's water in the roadway is not a simple foregone conclusion. They are intended to assist with the significance of the rain event for a period of time until we can elevate. The fact that there's water in the roads does not mean that they're not working.
Hi, this is Jeannie McCurdy again, 527 Broad Ave.
Okay, you have exactly 2 minutes and 49 seconds left. This is your third go-round, so whatever you have to say, we're going to ask you to wrap it up. Ms. Bergen will answer. I think we've been more than considerate with the time. Thank you.
Well, again, I don't feel like the question is answered. I'm not saying that there wasn't any presence out there. We're wondering if possibly the flapper valve company could come out and let us know, and maybe you could let us know if that could potentially be a next step, because the flapper valves aren't working and the sealing part isn't working either. So again, we're just looking for solutions. We're not looking for you to, be unhappy with us during meetings. We're not, we're trying to, Joanne mentioned that, I'm sorry, I should call you Ms. Bergen. I don't know you personally. We're trying to work together. We are trying to work together. We see on a very consistent basis, maybe not daily, but a very consistent basis, whether there's a wind event or not, whether there's it's a non-flooding event or not. We get water in the street. We want some solutions, and we don't feel like we're getting anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Seeing no one else. I believe she answered those questions already through Mr. Palmisano's question. So I think that we have answered the questions. I think Ms. Bergen and Mayor Ducey have both answered the questions. They may have been asked differently, but they're essentially the same questions. So I think I have about a minute left. Can we get some confirmation that maybe someone from the flapper valve company can come and see how we're doing?
I think Ms. Bergen did say that she was going to speak with the flapper valve company.
So we have DPW and engineers in this town that are more than capable. If there's any problems out there, we'll go right to the manufacturer. They made some pretty big promises about their stuff. We took so long picking out these flapper valves because we tried it out for a year. We didn't want to just try it out for 2 months or 3 months. We wanted to get a year with winter storms, summer storms, spring storms, everything in between, high tides, nor'easters and everything. So after that year, if everybody remembers why these flapper valves took so long, is because we didn't want to order them. We didn't want to get something that did not work. So we finally found the company. Everybody was excited about it. We had spent $300,000 on flapper valves and another $55,000 coming up this year. And of course, that's what we would do. If there is a problem with the flapper valves, the manufacturers will be out here.
Okay, because they don't...
Thank you. Okay. Seeing no one else, we're going to close public. Thank you, everyone, for your input. And I'll move on to council comments. Ms. Bergen?
I have nothing further tonight. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. Just want to thank our DPW Parks Department and everybody who's the monitors, which are from different departments in Town Hall, for all the hard work with the plowing. We've had 2 snowstorms already here in 2021, and there's we'll forecast for some additional. Everybody, please try to get your cars out of the street. That was one of the biggest problems we had with the first storm. Is by the time when it was time to plow, it ended up being in the overnight hours. So the overnight hours, there just seemed to be a plethora of cars out in the street, which makes it difficult, because if you're driving one of these big trucks and it's dark and there's snow coming down, you're not getting very close to those cars, because that's something that would be your responsibility. There's a parked car and you hit it with a truck, it's not going to be the parked car's fault. I wouldn't think any insurance adjuster or court would find that. They would blame the truck. So the trucks are not going to get too close to those cars, be it in the rear of those cars, be it on the side of those cars, or be it in the front of those cars. So you're talking, 13-foot buffers, things like that, things of that nature. So we just have to remember to try to pack as many cars into the driveways as we can. It helps with your own shoveling, because the more cars there are in your driveway, the less you have to shovel, I guess. And just thanks for all the hard work. It was a rough one. That first one was a lot of heavy snow. And then we had that second one where, and all these storms have rain in between. So we actually, in that first snowstorm where we got about 5.5 inches or so, 6 inches, it rained for 5.5 hours in the middle of that storm. But the rain didn't take away the snow for whatever reason. It actually turned it into heavy, heavy slush, and then more snow came down, and it was a very difficult job. So thank you for everybody out there plowing and monitoring the plows and the call center. And then the second storm, a little less snow, but the same thing. You had to be about 4 inches. So we got the plows out there, and they did a great job. And it's great to hear a lot of compliments on the plowing job. So thank you very much for all the hard work for everybody involved with that effort. And hopefully we don't have to do it again, but it seems like we might. And then lastly, I just want to talk about we have clothing available for everybody who loves brick beaches. You always see when you see Manasquan beaches, or you see Seaside or Lavalette. So now we have our own Brick Beach 3 clothing. You can pick it. You can buy that over at our recreation over on Chambers Bridge Road. And I just want to thank Anthony, who's a township resident, who's very pro beach and always is asking me about beaches anytime I see him. He was the one who designed those awesome designs for the clothing and for the sweatshirts and shirts. So thank you very much, Anthony. And if anybody's interested in that, please contact our recreation department. And have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's on tonight?
Scott's on.
Oh,
Kevin. I'm sorry, Kevin's on.
Oh, he's okay. Mr. Starkey?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't have anything to add. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
I have nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary?
Nothing, thanks.
Councilwoman Zapsik?
Thank you, Council President. I really have nothing significant tonight other than to tell everyone to stay safe, keep wearing your masks, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Minikino?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilwoman DeYoung?
I just want to thank everybody who worked the last couple of storms, and stay safe if we have to work some more later on this week and through the month. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Mumolo?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Councilwoman Pontorero?
I have nothing to add tonight, thank you.
Council Vice President Halloran?
Yes, I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. I wish we could all kiss each other, but I guess we can't. Not for a while, not this year anyway. So, happy Valentine's Day, that's all I've got.
Right back at you. All right. I have nothing also other than to, echo Council Vice President Halloran's, remarks. Happy Valentine's Day coming. Our next scheduled meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. I have 7:52.
That was a great part, Mayor, about having the test flapper for a year. I totally forgot about